exactly. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
So I love when I love your energy. I love your passion.
Yeah.
I'm also a very passionate person, so
Yeah.
I know when the energy is a fit,
Yeah.
we don't need an agenda. The conversation is guided by this higher power, call it God, call it universe. There's
Absolutely.
there's something that's way smarter than I am and than you are, yet we all have access, and that to serve people who are listening to this. My intention is always even just one person listen to one sentence
Yeah.
of whatever I'm involved, and that made their day better, they make change their trajectory of their life. My job is done for today.
And that's exactly your whistle in my tune. So this is perfect for us to kind of hop in here and give it a go. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Joe. It's very nice to meet you.
Absolutely. It's an honor. So let's begin our journey with this. I always ask with this question 5.5 years ago or so, this pandemic was changing our lives, our worlds. How did you get through that era and how has it changed the way that you approach life today?
I am somebody who has been given this gift of I actually thrive in crisis, if that is a thing. When something is going quote unquote abnormally, that is when I truly thrive. And throughout my academic career, my actual professional career I did before this, and the pandemic was no exception. I was already working as an entrepreneur. I already was in the phase of building my own business, and I really saw that as an opportunity to say, okay, what can I do to serve, support others? And I thrive in that. I am a giver. I am a if you're familiar with love languages, my one of my love languages to give gifts. So during that time, I was just giving time, or um, I remember there was a nurse who I know, and she's just talking about the shortage of even face masks and shields. And I somehow I got hold of a bunch of those, and I give it all to her, and that makes my heart sing. At the same time, I never had the opportunity to spend so much time so closely with my family. And that was something that was really eye-opening for me to treasure that time. For me, because of what I do as a mindset trainer, I am willing to, it's not always comfortable, but I am always willing to look at a challenge to say, what is a good in this? It's not always easy, yet the pandemic was a fantastic opportunity.
So let's get into the work that you do on a daily basis. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of kids. It's career day. They're about 12, 13 years old, and they want to know what you do for a living. How do you condense and make them understand what you're doing every day?
Wow, that is I would say if a 12, 13-year old, I'm thinking of my nine and a half year old son, I would just tell them first to understand that you are every single one of us has this incredible potential. We can do whatever makes our heart sing. The key thing in life is to always be open to say what makes my heart sing. What does that even mean? Do things that makes you happy, do things that you're passionate about, do things that makes other people make their life better and make the world better. Whatever that is, you will figure it out as you're growing. Have fun, be silly, be you, be authentically you, and just love and kind and respect and support each other. And I promise you, you're going to have a fantastic life, and you're never going to be short of money or time or love or all the good things or chocolate. And don't eat too much of it because, I was a registered dietitian.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Totally get it. So, what did you want to be when you were a kid? When you were around that age, what was your dream life?
I wanted to become a marine biologist.
Okay. Okay.
That was, I had a poster. I remember when I was 14, 13, 14. I had a poster of I'm going to get into this marine biology university. It was one of the best in China. I was born raised in China, and I had that poster and just said, I don't know what I was thinking. I have always been curious about biology, science, human body, all of it. So that's what was my dream when I was 13, 14.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about how you evolved to this point. Kind of take me to the beginnings of your career and how you evolved to this point where you're helping people.
Right. When I was 20 years old, I came to Canada. I moved from China to Canada as a young adult. Very, very fortunate and grateful for my parents as an international student. They supported me financially through my entire post-secondary education because that none of that was available for an international student. Um, and I studied nutrition because I love food. That is one of my passions. Is that I love good food, and I have always been curious about the science side of things. What happens within this human body after we consume whatever that we're eating. So combining both curiosity and passion, I studied nutrition for 6 years. I have an undergrad degree in nutrition and a master's degree. I absolutely loved everything I studied, my entire academic journey. What I did not know was after that journey, my goal, my dream was to become a registered dietitian. But I did not know what it feels like to work as a registered dietitian. Literally 2 weeks into my full-time job, I started realizing that I'm not I'm not fulfilled. Like there's something missing. Because there's this internal feeling of I know I have more, I can do more, I can make a bigger or and better contribution. It's not coming from this egocentric place. It's simply coming from this desire of I want to make other people's life better. And working as a registered dietitian was not it, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So following the path of, okay, then go for more education. I started literally searching for doing either a PhD or getting back to medical school. Literally, I was actively pursuing both. And then I just like, no, I'm not going to do a PhD because I do not like research, period. So medical school, it was this logical next step. But I didn't even realize where the drive was coming from at this point. It was coming from this, it was coming from my ego. It was coming from this feeling inside of me, my humanness wanting to be, oh, look at me, I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
More of that. Yes, there's a part of it is about helping others, making a bigger impact, but it was less. It was less coming from my heart, more coming from my head. And this is when, thank goodness part of me was open for this divine wisdom to guide me, and doors open up, opportunities open up. I said yes to things that I would never had yet said yes before. I started to build my own business on the side, and that allowed me to experience personal development, to start to understand the power of in anybody's mind and their thinking, and how that connect into their life, and how I can support others in helping them to understand their own awareness, their own mindset, what is going on in their head. And from there, I discovered I would love to be a life coach. I would love to help others to understand what is going on in their own head so they can build more success, not going through this old way of doing more school or working harder, putting more hours, sacrifice yourself, and none of that, but it's really coming from this love and relaxed and calm energy. Um, and that was I 8 years ago I left my full-time job, and ever since I've been building this business. By all means, it's not always smooth, not
Yeah.
always easy,
Sure.
but I'm so grateful that I have given this opportunity and this awareness, and I keep moving forward on this path.
So who's been that inspirational guiding force, that guiding light for you to find this evolution to where you know what you're doing is right?
Interesting when you say that. My logical mind is wanting to mention my mentor, who has been in my life for 8 years. Her name is Mary Morrissey. She's American. She lives in Los Angeles area. Yet, divinely, my intuition is saying Tabitha DeBron. Tabitha was so what opened my door. My first entrepreneurial endeavor was network marketing. I never thought I would be selling hand lotions and lipsticks, because I had a master degree. I was way too good for that. But thank goodness my divine guidance guided me to say yes to that opportunity. And Tabitha was the leader of this particular business endeavor I was in. And she was a coach. And she's just the wisdom she has collected and the way she gave me the first taste of what a coach can do in your life. So I would mention she is a person. Literally in 11 minutes in one of our conversations, she helped me to shift my perception completely by simply pointing it out and hold a space so I can look at a different direction on my own. Not to say, hey, look at this way. It's like, how about we look at here? And I love that opportunity and that experience. That was my first point of saying I, I love my experience and I would love to provide that experience for others.
So I gotta ask, is being in the world of food as a dietitian, I'm curious. Chinese food that we have in America is not what's going on over in China, correct?
Mm. Not
At all.
really. Well,
What?
it's inspiration. Let's infuse. Let's just call it
Okay,
infused.
infused. Okay, so what's the difference?
First of all, in China, because we have this long history and we have this dense population, so each region of China has all its own cuisine.
Yeah.
I'm from kind of the northeast side of China, and our cuisine is very different, even compared to Beijing, to Shanghai, definitely to the southern provinces. So that is something that people think, oh, Chinese food is Chinese food. Heck, if you go travel from the north to the south, you're gonna have very different cuisines all along the line. There are similarities by all means. We eat according to the season because we have more vegetables and fruits available. Living in Canada, right? So it's all seasonal. It's all very regional. My parents when they go home, now they live in Canada, but when they go home, they would go to those morning markets and buy literally those farmers grow in their backyard and they just harvested that morning. So how fresh that food is. And obviously my generation, even in China, is changing our diet, is changing our lifestyle. Yet my parents' generation, they're still very much of fresh out of the field. And even the in Canada in the springtime, they will go pick up dandelions because that is Chinese medicine, and that is a food that's consumed. So I think obviously we won't get that from Panda Express or whatever
Yeah,
the
right.
Chinese.
For sure. Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now that you find inspirational that would help you on your journey, you could have a lunch, you could talk to them, you could spend some time with them that might help you. Who would you love to meet and talk to?
Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
That's the first
I love it.
I love her wisdom. I love her journey. I love the challenging time she went through. I love that she left a chapter, she closed a chapter and literally at the peak and opened up something new.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the things that we don't hear behind closed doors. We look at her incredible success. I would love to have conversations just to dig into her mindset and to see what's your secret? And I know there's no secret yet. It's the wisdom.
Absolutely. So I'm curious in your line of work, when you look at like the this line between work-life balance, what's your philosophy on that? How do you do it and how do you teach that?
First of all, I don't believe in balance because balance is rigid, it's hard to achieve. It is like if I put this pencil on my fingers, it's very hard to achieve that balance, and I could hardly move. My philosophy is about harmony. It's about this flow. This past holiday season, I took 2 weeks off, focusing on my family. I did some work related stuff, but very minimal. And there are times I roll up my sleeves. I work Saturdays and Sundays when I have events. So is this flow? And I believe in intention. Very often we just feel like we got to rush into the next thing. We don't really stay focused on what we're doing right now, because when we're stressed, very often is we're thinking about other things, not really focusing on what we're doing right now. If we're willing to even practice that, that is when you realize, wow, I have a whole lot of more time. I can be way more productive. Even I have two young children, and I know I love them, and I have no desire to spend 24 hours just glued to them, nor vice versa. Yet
Right.
if they come to me and they want to play with me, I give them 15 minutes of laser focused time. I don't look at my phone. I don't think about business or clients or anything. I think about them. And then 10 minutes later, they're satisfied. And I can go back to whatever I was doing or whatever I was about to do. So that is my philosophy. I believe in harmony. I believe in with your mind, stay laser focused on whatever you're doing in that moment.
So we have this when we're in the middle of our lives living this life as an entrepreneur and looking at our career, we're in the middle of it. That's the focal point. But there's that word retirement that comes flashing up in our heads every once in a while.
Yeah.
What comes into your mind when you think the word retirement?
I think I'm very, very, call it lucky, call it fortunate, whatever. I discovered this thing that I don't want to be retired from.
Yeah.
I just mentioned I took 2 weeks off, and I noticed something in the 2 weeks. I was like, I miss my clients, I miss my work. And I'm like, that is a good sign that I want to actually go back to work, quote unquote. My mentor, my other mentor, Mary, used to say, work is love made visible. That is the ideal work. Like your work is something you're so passionate for, by all means take time off doing something different, focus on other things. For me, retirement, um giving my husband as an example, he's a traditional Chinese medicine doctor practitioner, and he was training in China. Now he has his own clinic, he's an entrepreneur as well. So he has no desire to retire. Yet, what he would love is to work less hours and give this ownership of this clinic to the next generation, so he can go into really focusing on serving his patients. I don't think he'll ever be like, oh, I'm completely retired. I don't see any patients. Maybe his 80s. I don't know. it's, it's, but that's my definition, my understanding of retirement. Here's the thing, everybody's understanding and definition is so different. My invitation for everybody is always to know yourself.
Yep.
Just because you hear somebody say it doesn't mean it's going to be applicable for you. What do you really want? Some people want to, like, in my 40s, I want to, not work and just have this passive income and lay on the beach every single day. Amazing, go for it. So not everybody would love to. We don't want the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally right. So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight and ran into that younger version of you leaving China, coming to a new country, really embarking on a new adventure, and you had a book in your hands, and it was a coffee table book of your life so far that you've lived, and you handed it over and said, this is how it's turned out so far, would your young version of you believe it?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I thought you were going to ask me, okay, what would I tell the younger version of me? What kind of book would I hand out to her? I will give her a blank book.
Yeah.
I would tell her, just go after your intuition and go live your life.
Yeah.
um I made a lot of mistakes. I had a lot of failures, whether in all aspects, as a mother, as a wife, as whatever. Yet I don't regret any of that, because I believe all of that, everything is by divine reason. Everything happened, even though my humanness is like, oh, that is very embarrassing, or that was bad. But if I'm willing, I can still look for the good, the gem, the treasure. It's up to me to discover that.
Yeah.
Or it's up to me to stay dwelled into victimhood, to say, why did this happen to me? I'm a victim and whatever. And so it is. No right, no wrong. So she would be like, heck, I don't care. Just leave me alone.
That's it. I love it. So let's say you walked into a room of everybody that knows you in a business sense throughout your career and your different incarnations, and they know you as this professional. And you walk to the podium and you can tell them a fun story. Maybe the first concert you went to, maybe a wonderful place you traveled to. just jumping out of an airplane, a fun story that would humanize you a little bit to that room. What would you tell that room that would give them a better insight into who you are?
So tell them the story. My first live piano recital.
Yeah,
This was only like 3 years ago. In the middle of the pandemic, at the beginning of the pandemic, June of 2020, I had an idea, inspiration of I would love to learn piano.
yeah,
Never touched piano in my entire life. And I didn't just go get a keyboard and start there for $50. I actually got a actual acoustic piano, and it's in my house. I started learning with a piano teacher, and fast forward 2022, winter 2022, it was the first piano recital of this teacher in person. Before, she only does online, like you record something, and this was in person. And I thought, I'm a public speaker. I've been doing my multiple day event. I speak in front of thousands of people. I got no problem. Holy moly, the level of nervousness that I experienced. And I screwed up the majority part of that piece. So that would be
but
the story I share.
but that's so brave. That shows so much of who you are to be able to do. The piano is not anything. 'Cause it's like learning a language. Like when you get older, it gets harder to learn languages. And when you're younger, it's easier. So then to be able to go in front of people, I just see that as a courageous, gritty kind of a thing to do. It's
Thank you
wonderful.
so much, Joe. And
Yeah.
here's the thing is ignorance. Okay.
Yeah.
So because my ego was like, I can do this, I can do something in front of people. And I didn't really dive into, oh my God, this is something I've never done before.
Uh-huh.
It happened right in the moment, right before, like 5 minutes before I was about to walk onto that piano to start to perform in front of like live audience. And I got no choice. I
Yeah.
couldn't. Well, I guess I could run out the door, but I didn't chose that route.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You went for it.
I
So
went for it.
yeah, so speaking of doing things in your life, of everything that you've done and accomplished and evolved to, what are you the proudest of?
Oh, I'm most proud of ooh, the mother I've become.
Yeah.
From I never thought I want to have kids because my husband is 16, 17 years older than me.
Yeah.
I was like, it's too cruel to make a 50-year-old chasing a toddler. And that's exactly what happened twice. And changing that narrative of how you raise a child, from my personal experience, where in China, parents beating you up, that's a regular thing. I even thought it was a regular thing. And I'm very proud that I stopped that generational narrative of how you raise your child.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
So everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, everyone you work with, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I am still evolving. I know that there's part of me that I'm not aware of myself. My intention every single day is coming from gratitude, coming from, yeah, I woke up. It's a brand new baby day. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm proud of myself for showing up. And every single day, I am getting better and better. Um, and there are days my better and better is just crawl into the bed and just like do whatever.
Yeah.
And yet, that is my intention. My perception is that there are so much of me that I don't know yet, and um and I'm just, my intention is simply to become better and better, not according to nobody else standard, but according to myself and this power that's breathing me.
So, as an adventurous spirit, if you could get into a time machine and go back in time and see one event in human history or go into the future, where are you going to go? What do you want to see?
Ooh, I actually would love to stay in it right now,
Okay.
just to really savor in the right now.
Yeah.
um and knowing that it's everything is divinely,
Yeah.
and really my job is to live this moment I'm taking a breath to the best that I can be.
Yeah.
Though you ask really deep, meaningful questions, I
Thank you.
love this. It's
Yeah,
like,
no,
whoa.
And I love that answer. I absolutely love it. So if anybody wants to tap into the Enlightened Success Institute, learn more about you, questions, any of the good business, where do they go?
Thank you so much, Joe. My name is Lin Yuan-Su with a hyphen. You can look it up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever, maybe LinkedIn too.
Yeah.
And send me email. Look me up online. You will find me. Enlightenedsuccess.com. I think Joe is going to put that in the show note. I don't know,
Yes.
but look it up. And I love to support others to discover their spark in life, their human potential, and to really live a life that is whatever you are, whoever you are, this passion life. So,
I
yeah.
love it. Love your energy. Love your story. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today. Best of luck. I know we're a little past it, but Happy New Year. Have a great New Year.
Yes, you too, Joe. Very nice to meet you and to be continued. I love
Yes.
your energy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.